Oi, this is a Jason Statham's workout. It's time to get buff. Yeah. The first exercise is gonna be the flat bench press. Now this is a circuit type training, as they call it, a static circuit, which is going to be pretty much straight through the sets. Now there's 4 sets, and as you can see, we're gonna be doing 5 repetitions. At the end of those 5 repetitions, you can be holding the weight at the full extension, as you can see here, Hudson's doing. Count it 30 seconds, and then once you reach that 30-second mark, you're gonna be racking the weight for 10 seconds to rest. As soon as those 10 seconds are up, you're gonna immediately unrack it, perform another 5 reps, and then hold it for another 30 seconds. You're doing that for 4 sets. So you'll see and you'll notice when you're performing this that when you're in that extended position, in that hold position, is the isometric contraction there, because the muscles are forced to contract without either lengthening or shortening, and the blood is gonna be forcing itself into those muscles. So you're gonna really feel that burn in that chest. Now, if you're dealing with any kind of high blood pressure, probably stay away from isometric contractions here, because what's gonna do, it's gonna create a lot of blood pressure there, and you can feel it as you're holding in that position. It's definitely not easy. So if you're dealing with those kind of issues, stay away from any kind of isometric contractions. But if you're not, if you have a clean bill of health, then definitely you're gonna love this exercise and this workout, because you're gonna feel that amazing pump and that burn in those muscles. And I mean, within the second set, which I'm sure Hudson can feel already, I mean, within 2 sets, you're already burning pretty hard, and you got 4 of those. So it's definitely a really tough workout. And you know, I mean, you can't expect anything less from Jason Statham.
Oi! Oi! So when performing other people's workouts, like Jason Statham's, which we're doing now, it's always a little bit interesting because you're getting used to their unique routine. And with this one, as Brandon was saying, it's a static circuit. So what you're doing the 1 exercise, the 4 sets, just 10 seconds of rest in between before moving on to your next set. And it's a little easy to overestimate yourself. We started with 185 pounds. Well, that was a little too heavy, so we went ahead and bumped it down to 135 on the flat bench, because when you're doing the 5 reps, you're moving straight onto the 30-second isometric hold with only 10 seconds of rest in between before moving on to the next set. Whew, you get tired real fast. So keep that in mind when performing this workout. You may not be using weights quite as heavy as you're used to, but it's still gonna kick your ass. It definitely feels like something that Jason Statham would perform, and the proof is in the pudding. He's a buff dude.
He's holding his boulder shoulders, mate. It feels good. Right. Next up on the Jason Statham workout, we have the military press. As you can tell, the ceiling is pretty low here, so we're just gonna do it on our knees. Now with the military press, the differences are, what's the difference between overhead press and military press? Well, the military press is essentially bringing your feet together like you're standing at attention in the military. So you can tell your base of support is a lot smaller than it would be in a standard overhead press, where your legs are about shoulder width apart. So you have a little bit more stability in there. So military press is reducing your base of support, creates a little bit more instability, and then engaging your core a bit more. Of course, we're doing it on the knees, but we're keeping our knees together, so slightly similar, but you know, there is no leg drive as well, so it kind of cuts that out of it. And with this one, you're just holding at that top, full extension. You're really trying to lock out your elbows as much as you can, so that way it makes it a little bit easier in that full extension. If you keep them bent, it's gonna feel like it's putting a little bit more difficulty into the exercise. But if you want it more difficult, of course, you can always create a little bend in there, and try to elevate your shoulders to the top position to contract your traps. So that way it helps stabilize yourself in that position, the top position. 30 seconds hold, 10 seconds rest, and then start those 5 reps again for 4 sets. Yeah.
Oi. So when you're doing the Jason Statham workout, you gotta work out to Jason Statham's favorite song. Cue the music. Moving right along through the workout, now we're going to chest flies. Again, we're keeping it just a little bit lighter, seeing as we're doing 4 sets, one right after the other with that isometric hold, really feeling that chest pump big time. And that's the funny thing about Jason Statham. Not only does he hit the gym, but he's always been an athletic guy. He was a swimmer growing up, which is something I didn't know in the beginning, especially when you saw him in movies like Lock, Stock, 2 smoking barrels snatched. The dude always had like a trench coat on, and then he finally decided to unveil the guns, and well, the rest is history because the guy's a bona fide action hero. So swimming in the gym like today, he does a lot of body weight stuff as well, a little bit of what we're gonna be doing later on in this workout. And it's whatever you can do to keep a healthy, fit lifestyle. You don't just have to use weights. Of course, we do it because we enjoy it, but you can find the particular workout that, well, works for you. We've done many more in the past. You can check them out in our playlist. Chris Hemsworth, Henry Cavill, the list goes on and on. They all have particular training styles, and hey, you know what? They work. This one does too. Really feeling that pump. Boy.
Time to hit some isolation work with the triceps, which is gonna be the cable press downs. And much like all the other exercises, this is gonna be a isometric hold at the end of the 5 repetitions for 30 seconds with 10 seconds of rest between each set for 4 sets. Now you notice with this one, if you press the weight down and you get that full extension, you squeeze the triceps. If you try to bring your shoulders down or essentially depress your shoulders, that's gonna help get a little contraction in the chest as well. So you kind of get a full benefit of the exercise, not only in the triceps, but you feel a little contraction in the chest as well, and also in the trapezius too. So that's one thing you gotta remember in a lot of these exercises, even if they are an isolation exercise, there's always a way to help not only stabilize the muscle, but also bring in other muscles into the equation to help out with the exercise slightly, especially in this case for a hold position. Of course, during the flexion and extension of the elbow joint, you really just wanna try to contract the triceps during that time. But once you get into that static hold, into that isometric contraction, really try to squeeze, get a little bit of other muscles involved in that with the chest and the traps to help really hold that position, really squeeze, and you'll definitely feel that burn, especially at the end of those four sets. As you can tell in our faces coming up, because this endurance, it's killing us. Fuck you, Jason.
Chest dips. You know the routine. It's gonna be 4 sets, 5 reps, 30-second hold after every set, then 10 seconds rest, go right back into the next set. So we are holding that. It's getting harder and harder with every exercise, honestly, because there's a lot of isometric holds, probably the most I've ever done in one single workout, and I am feeling it big time. Me and Brandon are both ready to try our hands at Fast and the Furious 37. Or is it Fast and the Furious 43? I don't know which one they're up to now, but yeah.
I mean, The Rock is getting his own spin-off of that.
The Rock and Jason Statham.
And Jason Statham. Apparently that Tyrese, he wasn't too happy about that. There's a little beef going on there. But
the family, it's always been about family.
Family splitting up.
And they're splitting up the family. And Jason Statham being bald is gonna play the baby. They're gonna fight for custody. It's gonna be
his boss baby grew up.
Yeah.
He grew up. We got the farmer walk holds coming up. And as you can tell, there's not a lot of space in the Buff Dude gym here. So we're gonna be walking back and forth quite a few times. 5 to 6 times. And then as soon as we reach that, we're gonna hold for 30 seconds. And this is really gonna test your grip, your forearms, and also your traps too, because you wanna slightly shrug the weight when you're holding in that position, the farmer holds, and that way you can feel that nice contraction in the traps, get the benefit of that, and also squeeze the dumbbells as hard as you can throughout the duration of that 30 seconds, rest for 10, and then start again. There we go, the Jason Statham workout is done.
Yeah, we're wrapping this up with bodyweight squats. We're doing 5 reps, then we're holding in the bottom position. Find your zen, find your happy place, work on your Jason Statham accent. I know we have a hell of a ways to go, but we're trying. So once you're wrapped up with that, you're gonna move on to 10 more minutes of the rowing machine, or in our case, elliptical, because that's what we have available. And there you go.
You just completed, you're basically Jason Statham now.
You are.
You'll look in the mirror and you're like, oh.
Shave your head. Don't even think about it, just shave your head right now.
Right now.
And like Brandon said,
I'm Jason Statham.
so am I.
No, I am.
No, I am.
I am.
Oi.
Oi.
Oi.